What's good, y'all? It's your boy Havoc, final round. Got a little sparring footage here of Caleb Plant against, I think his name's Ahmed. I'm not too quite familiar with his resume, but I got to do some research on him to see what type of quality opponent he is in sparring. But see right here, Caleb Plant back to the ropes, working out of that Philly shell. There's some things I like about it, some things I don't. Got caught with the lead right hand right there. I mentioned that in previous film studies with Caleb Plant. He gets caught up top with a lot of jabs, 1-2s, lead right hands, and lead left hooks. And especially when his opponent doubles up on the jab. All that will be available to Canelo Alvarez. And so his head movement still doesn't look perfected, especially out of that Philly shell. But what I did like about that was he was protecting his body at all costs. That's the thing. I say this in some of my prior film studies. It's not that he needs to be Floyd Mayweather. It's that he needs that shell to protect his body at all costs. And I'll get into that a little bit later. And another thing I liked about when he was back was against the ropes and he was kind of working out that Philly shell defense was he wasn't looking to roll out. He wasn't looking to get his back off the ropes. He wasn't panicking. He was trying to sit there and work his defense and get comfortable with his back to the ropes. That's a really good sign. That could be a really huge asset and tool. And like right there, contrary to quite what popular belief is, I hear a lot of people saying, oh, Caleb Plant's going to be on his skates all night. He's going to run. Yes, he will be on his back foot all night long. But here's the thing. He will engage at points. He will let his hands go. He will throw combinations. Completely different than a guy like Landi Laura who wants to just pot shot and move, pot shot and clinch, pot shot and go. He's never going to engage. Well, he didn't engage for that Canelo Alvarez fight. He didn't let his hands go. He never showed the judges like, hey, I'm in control. I'm the ring general. I'm moving when I want to, and I'm not moving because Canelo's forcing me to. I think if Landi Laura was willing to engage a little bit more in that fight, he could have won it. And a lot of people thought he won anyways. Let's check some of this footage out. This looks like a more fresh version of Caleb Plant. Nice little feint here. Probing with that left hand and shoots the right hand. Beautiful. Nice hooks to the body. He's going to need that body attack. He's going to need to match Canelo Alvarez's body attack to slow him down himself. Nice little shovel hook by Caleb Plant. You can tell he's feeling himself, very confident, sticking and moving very well. This is the type of stuff I want to see the night of the fight. If you see Caleb Plant doing this, it's a good sign. Nice head movement as he's moving backwards. Good timing with the jab. Nice little feint there. I like the way he's half-stepping right here, controlling the distance very well. Throws the lead left hook. That's one of his signature moves that I love. He may not have that one-punch KO ability, you guys, but he does have the ability to get flash knockdowns. He has very good technique, and what he'll do, he'll throw that lead left hook, he'll pivot to the inside, and then he'll walk you into a hook. Okay, and he'll catch you off balance as he's turning you into the punch. And that's how he gets a lot of his flash knockdowns. That could be a huge tool for him. And that's another signature combo that I like, but he tends to get caught while he's throwing it. He'll throw the hook to the body and come back to the head. Beautiful punch placement and speed. He just needs to be a little bit more defensively responsible. It's a risky punch, or a combination. And usually I see him throw it with the jab. He'll come with the right hook to the body, and then he'll double up. But right there, he just went straight to it. Once again, back to the ropes in that Philly shell, trying to... See, I wish he would catch and shoot right here a little bit more. Catch with the right hand, shoot down the pipe. Catch a body shot, come up with the uppercut. Just disrupt your opponent. Don't let him just tee off like that. Just disrupt him. And I'm sick of hearing this narrative that, nice catch and shoot right there, that you need power to beat Canelo. You don't need power to beat Canelo, okay? You just don't. He gets caught with the lead right. I know he's not Mayweather, and I know Mayweather is in a completely different dimension than Caleb Plant, but Mayweather didn't need power to beat Canelo. And we need to stop this. How many times have we seen it throughout history that the better, more skilled boxer can beat a bigger puncher? Now, granted, I believe Canelo Alvarez is the better boxer, so that's what makes it difficult for Caleb Plant. But I think stylistically, being a back-footed fighter could give Canelo some issues. But I mean, we saw it with Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, the big puncher against the you know, a lot of people say before he was knocking out Deontay Wilder, oh, Tyson Fury doesn't have the power to deal with Deontay Wilder. He can't knock him out. He has soft punches. But he outboxed him, and he was able to get him to a point in that fight to where he could TKO him or knock him down. And like right here, you're seeing Caleb Plant. He will engage with you. He will let his hands go, whether it be to the detriment of him getting knocked out or, you know, whether it plays into his advantage. He will let his hands go. He does get caught, but he will engage. And sparring partner is giving him good work, man. Like I said, I don't know too much about this guy. He's a pretty big boy. He's got decent speed, power, and combinations. He's imposing his size on him. And I'll say this, Caleb Plant doesn't look bad in the clinch. It's good that he's kind of holding his weight against a bigger man like that in the clinch. And one thing you have to understand here is a little bit of context. He looks like his sparring partner looks like he's getting the upper hand a little bit, but this could be the 9th round of sparring with his 3rd different sparring partner. Because usually when a guy's in camp, his first round he'll go first 3 rounds with one guy. Then the next 3 rounds he'll go in with a new fresh sparring partner. Then he'll go another rounds and another sparring partner will come in and fresh legs and will press him. So he might be a little sloppy here because he might be in his 9th round of sparring against his 3rd different sparring partner with fresh legs. Just keep that in perspective. You know, and I want to make this clear. I get it, you guys. You Canelo fans you're borderline getting to a place of where Deontay Wilder fans are. Hardcore, staunch narratives, don't want to hear any sort of critique or any sort of contrary opinion to, you know, the fighter you like, and you will censor or silence people or ridicule them just because they have an opinion. Even if it's coming from, you know, a reasonable place. I have nothing against Canelo Alvarez, you guys. I have no dog in this fight. I actually like Canelo Alvarez. I think he's a great boxer. I think he's pound for pound the best in the world, even though I do believe Terence Crawford and Alexander Usyk will have something to say about that soon. For now, I have him winning this fight by KO. So I don't understand, just because I'm breaking this fight down and I'm pointing out some of the flaws of Canelo Alvarez, if you even want to call it that, I don't know why you guys get so butthurt. I know you got his jock strap in your mouth, but for Christ's sakes, I'm just breaking down a fight. You know, I went on a freaking panel for the Fury Deontay Wilder fight with a bunch of Deontay Wilder fans, and man, dude, all I was simply doing was talking boxing, breaking the fight down, and giving my opinion why I thought Tyson Fury was gonna win. And dude, they lost their shit. They kicked me off the panel because they didn't want to hear it. It was absolutely crazy. And I think we're getting to that point with Canelo Alvarez fans. And lucky for you Canelo Alvarez fans, you got a phenomenal fighter who's very skilled, very talented, and I don't see too many people giving him trouble in the near future. But, you know, are we really going to get to that point to where we can't say anything about Canelo Alvarez without being ridiculed or censored or kicked off panels? Like, come on, man. That's not what boxing's about. We're just strictly talking. Like, if I'm just talking out my ass, okay, go for it. You know, criticize me. But I'm giving legitimate criticism. Here's the thing. I think that Caleb Plant, I don't want to gloss over this fight. I know a lot of people are telling me to move on. Don't look into this. It is what it is. But the same people were telling me, you know, a lot of people were telling me about Usyk versus Anthony Joshua. They told me you're crazy. He's a cruiserweight. He's going up to face a real heavyweight. He's bigger than him. He's stronger than him. He's more powerful than him. He's going to knock him out. And initially, I was kind of with the consensus. Then I read a little bit more into that fight. Did a little bit more research on Alexander Usyk. Paid attention to what Anthony Joshua was doing and leading up into camp, the things he was saying, and the stylistic approach. Because styles make fight, you guys. Make fights. Styles make fights. Okay, not resumes. Canelo Alvarez has a great resume, but resumes don't win you fights. Styles do. And boxing math of this guy beating that guy, so therefore he's going to beat this guy, it doesn't add up. Boxing math does not add up. Or whatever you call it, triangle theories. Styles make fights. And I do think Caleb Plant has the right style to present some issues. And I'm not so worried about the level of competition. It's more so that he hasn't refined. He needs more time to refine his skills, whether that be against B-class opponents or A-class opponents. It's not so much the experience I'm worried about, because you can always find an inexperienced boxer who has the right style to beat a very experienced boxer. Because once again, styles make fights. Caleb Plant needs to refine his head movement. He needs to refine his countering abilities out of that Philly shell. He hasn't yet mastered that. So the question for me is, how good is his chin? Because if he can protect his body, I don't want him to be Mayweather, you guys. And stop. Just because a guy utilizes the Philly shell doesn't mean he's trying to be Floyd Mayweather. Now, I'm sure that Floyd Mayweather had a lot of influence on him, but Mayweather didn't create that Philly shell. That's a very old style, and he's not the only one who utilized it. James Toney was a master of it as well. You know, just because this is the way he fights doesn't mean he's trying to completely cop off of what Mayweather does, you guys. Okay? And it is a good style to have. The beauty of that is it protects the body. That's why they call it a shell. It protects the body very well. You cage those vital organs. And that's the key for Caleb Plant. Protect your body at all costs. Because here's a common denominator against three guys who utilize that guard. Okay? Danny Jacobs, Erislandy Lara, Floyd Mayweather. One of those guys won. Okay, and a lot of people argue Erislandy Lara won. And with Danny Jacobs, that was a better fight than a lot of people gave it credit for, especially considering a lot of people don't even think Danny Jacobs was in the same realm of Canelo Alvarez, but he went 12 rounds. I wonder why. And he pressed. Go watch that fight. He pressed Canelo Alvarez back multiple times in that fight and caught him with some good shots. All of them were utilizing that Philly shell to a certain degree, protecting their body. They were able to go 12 rounds. All of them attacked Canelo Alvarez and matched his body attack. Canelo Alvarez will lose sight of what he's doing if you do not give him anything downstairs. He will lose sight of that. He will get out of what he does best, and he will get a little bit desperate. Now you look at Billy Joe Saunders, who were back-footed, or Billy Joe Saunders and Amir Khan, two back-footed fighters, smaller guys though. And the common denominator why those guys got TKO'd or knocked out, high guard. Billy Joe Saunders right here, Amir Khan right here. You could literally see the imprints, the red marks on Amir Khan's body from after Canelo Alvarez attacking him frequently downstairs. You can see the red marks. Go watch it. Was the common denominator amongst those two? Smaller guys and high guard. Did not prioritize protecting their body. There were times that Billy Joe Saunders did lower his guard. And funny enough, when he did, that's when he had his most success in the fight. But that was more so because Canelo forced his guard down by ripping him to the body than him doing it by choice. But even when he was forced to do it, he had moments in that fight to where he looked better. He looked better with his hands down. But he didn't fight his fight. Billy Joe Saunders did not fight his fight that night. But that is kudos to Canelo Alvarez for making him fight his fight. And Caleb Plant, this is what it's interesting to me. Caleb Plant, let's think about the light heavies, some of the light heavies that Canelo beat. Okay, he beat Callum Smith and like Sergey Kovalev, those two guys, right? I'm sorry, those were tailor-made for Canelo Alvarez. Kovalev was burnt out at that point. Okay, he got destroyed by Andre Ward. I think he lost a fight or two after that. He was in some wars as well with, I think, like Anthony Yarde or something like that. He was losing that fight, then he came back. And he goes into that Canelo fight trying to box off the back foot. It was like watching Deontay Wilder trying to box off the back foot. That's not the crusher. You know, and Canelo, it was like he was in there for a paycheck. He got smoked by Canelo. Then you look at Callum Smith. I'm sorry, stylistically, it was tailor-made for Canelo. Okay? Billy Joe Saunders, smaller opponent. Amir Khan, I'm not trying to take credit away, and I'm not trying to be too critical of his resume, but you look at Amir Khan, dude, we were all making fun of Amir Khan for how chinny he was before we even knew he was going to take on Canelo Alvarez. We all saw it, dude. We all saw that coming. And even he had his moments. But coming up in weight classes to face Canelo Alvarez, significantly smaller. Caleb Plant is kind of nicely in the middle. He has the size of a light heavyweight, but he has the skill set of those lower weight class guys like Amir Khan and Billy Joe Saunders. That's interesting to me. Now the question is, how good is his chin? And how well is he gonna protect the body? Because if he can protect his body well, and if he has a good chin and he can withstand some of the punishment upstairs, it's gonna be an interesting fight. It's gonna go 12 rounds, okay? And he will have the ability to stick and move from the outside. He will. But that's the big question, and that's what I'm trying to learn more of. That's what I'm trying to read into. So I don't want to just gloss over this fight just yet and say, hey, Canelo's gonna win, easy peasy, you know, it is what it is. I don't want to gloss over it. I want to do a little bit more homework before I come with a definitive decision, because I don't want to sleep on this guy just yet, because I do think he has some things he does well. He just hasn't refined them to a point to where maybe he can utilize it against a guy like Canelo Alvarez yet. So yeah, guys, like the video, comment below, tell me what you think. I know you Alvarez fans are gonna be butthurt by what I'm saying, so bring it on. Let's go toe to toe. We're here to have fun. Just, you know, put things in perspective at the same time, you guys. I have nothing against Canelo. I'm not rooting for him to lose. I think he's as good as people say he is. So yeah, get at me, you guys.